It's 1622 on the 7th of October, and I'm documenting in this documentary, Sad Sign of the Times, over the past 4 or 5 years, the nature of wrongdoings that I've experienced and that I'm still awaiting to have the relevant bodies address and repair for what wrongdoings were inexcusably caused. The offences against the Constitution brought about, as we all know, as I've continued to reiterate and establish, the pandemic COVID due to unlawful actions that impeded and hindered progress and development in healthcare provisions that are an automatic right for all citizens. So there have been offences against the Hippocratic Oath, and there have been incidents of false reporting that I've experienced that are defame. So this matter just highlights the ongoing issue of offences against the pandemic protocol and the issues against the rights of each and every citizen to have the care that they are in need of provided without any admonishment of one's competencies or capabilities. I have a very serious concern for individuals that are still impeding and intruding on progress that has arisen from the social reform of my experience, the strength of hopes of 2 decades of preparation that haven't been so easily achieved. 2 decades is a long time to wait for the social reform that has risen from my service to the state and as the consequence of my humanitarianism. So the issue of that being offended and injured as a consequence of repeat retaliatory crimes of any individuals is very backward, it's very regressive, and it's highlighting such a huge discrepancy between what is progress and what isn't. So unfortunately some people have chosen to choose the lesser road. They haven't the high moral standing that they espouse of themselves at all, and they definitely don't have the etiquette or the propriety that they esteem themselves with in masquerading efforts to denigrate qualifications and credentials of other people that in this case is highlighted with the wrongdoings I'm experiencing. So professional standards aren't being observed, and that's a very sad sign of the times. The social reform and social justice that has arisen from my humanitarianism is being offended, and that's quite serious because it has entailed study and research, and that the field of education, be it first world, second world or third world, education and healthcare are the two main pillars that are to be upheld and respected. But unfortunately people that haven't got the integrity to behave in according with good practice have decided to choose the lesser road and continue on their path of problem making rather than providing solutions, and they're still exacerbating all that issue of what they incurred since 2006 when they commenced defamation and damages and harms and losses to my career and my good name and reputation in Tralee, southwest of Ireland. So now we have Brexit and we have COVID, and that's all subject to intellectual property theft, and there are still people speaking without a position of authority or without any consent to be disclosing personal information or details about people that they are intruding upon and that they're offending the law and jurisdiction of the state with as well. So these people have assumed a position that they haven't lived up to, they haven't fulfilled their position, and they have brought down the standard. It's really sad, and they've brought down the pillars of democracy that uphold good conduct, good behaviour, good humane standards of living for all that we would hope and expect, and that is obligatory for citizens to be entitled to. It's a natural birthright. So anyway, these circumstances unaddressed are still an issue of evasion and exacerbation. As I've continued to reiterate, intellectual property theft is quite dangerous, and it's not the first time I've experienced it. So the issue then of false reporting and people without remit or without consent or permission is another issue that makes all of these matters a very distrustful environment, and that's a sad sign of the times. And as I've said as well, the circulation of wealth that's stolen from a mother is quite dirty and dangerous a situation to be supporting, considering all the corruption that I've attended to in this country, and that is also being masqueraded as a different story, plot and line by the actors on a stage playing a very poor line. So this situation is quite serious again, as usual. I'm tending to Hippocratic offences myself, and there are people that are walking into people's homes without an invitation. So that's quite ignorant and that's quite rude. So I hope these people know about etiquette and royal protocol, and I hope they're not using the name Fernan with their criminal track record of financial fraud. Any individuals that are using my family name or any of my family names or any of my family titles are not welcome to associate their criminal activity with my royal titles in any exacerbatory crimes. So this is for the interests of those that are benefiting from my humanitarianism. The issue of a repeat cycle being conducted of hate crime. It's a cycle. It's a poor cycle. It's a pathetic cycle. It's really serious. That this is an adult situation and it's not being handled in a mature, responsible way. Those people that aren't prepared or willing or competent enough to address their failings, shortcomings or wrongdoings, that can't correct their boo-boos or mistakes, then are they fit for purpose? You know what I mean? And we've already seen the debt that they've incurred upon people, and that's quite serious as well. So it's offensive in many respects. But for today, the upload is with regard to rights and remit, healthcare and education all being offended, and the security and safety of the state being damaged as well by repeat offences of individuals offending the social reform and social justice that my experiences, strengths and hopes of 2 decades, if not more, have brought into existence and that are being offended. So I'm aware that there are other matters going on around the world as well that have arisen from all of these situations. But as we are today in this moment in Tralee in the southwest of Ireland, there are individuals exacerbating and evading their debts that they owe for the past 20 years for damages, harms and losses. And when it harms health and when it harms well-being, then that damages the recovery of 2019 that has arisen from my humanitarianism as well. So it's a sad sign of the times that people aren't mature enough to be able to handle their affairs in a professional manner. It sets a very bad precedence to the younger generation, the younger ones in society that are witnessing more of the same. Again, the begrudgery and the badness that isn't being, for the well-being of the forefathers of the state. It's really serious what's going on. And those that are intruding upon my personal faith, I'm aware that for the past 4 years, these people have been out of bounds, out of remit, and they've been coveting from my purpose as a humanitarian, as a recovery advocate, and as a royal. And these people are confusing their identities with me. They have no right, they've no entitlement, and they are not welcome to be blaspheming against any faith of my family name or my birthright. So just as a heads up, these people have been of bad practices, bad faith practices. They've intruded with confusion of the mind about their identities, where they are, who they are, where they're coming from, and they have caused very serious breach to all the faith codes and faith practices where they owe huge, dangerous debts. It's a sad sign of the times. So I hope those intelligent people out there in Europe or wherever, Asia or wherever, I hope people might be able to assist them in seeing the error of their ways, that we're all born unique, and that we all have our own gifts, and those people that aren't happy with what they have might reassess themselves and do a personal evaluation before they cause any damages and debts to other people's lives as well as their own, as they have already done in the southwest of Ireland with bad witchcraft. So this is an update from the southwest of Ireland, Tralee, County Kerry, and that's for the interests of the United Nations that I'm still awaiting to hear from with regard to the crimes against humanity I'm experiencing and the loss of my child in unlawful actions by those that are obstructing the church and the legal rights of any spouse in the Roman Catholic faith. So bigamy is quite dangerous for me to be experiencing, and the blasphemy is even worse. So those that are denying the truth, hiding from the truth, I hope you don't hurt yourselves denying the reality, because sometimes people could get lost and it's serious when that happens. So mind your mental health, and I hope those that are aware of the true nature of these circumstances are prepared to face the reality of the crimes I'm experiencing inexcusably and unforgivably and unduly in the language of the United Nations. So as a humanitarian, I hope the United Nations is prepared after 5 years of my contacting since 2019 to address the discrepancies between the Constitution and the human rights and the reality in this circumstance, with more eagles of the legal system not respecting the law and conducting unlawful actions with unlawful paperwork that is a defiance and in disrespect of right protocol on behalf of individuals that are offending my family ancestry. And that, I suppose, is all I have to say for today. It's a sad sign of the times.